Our digital world is this incredible place. It connects us, lets us buy and sell anything, and puts all of human knowledge right in our pocket. But it's also a landscape filled with risk. It's a classic double-edged sword. Today, we're going to dig into that constant trade-off we're all making every single day between the convenience of being online and the absolute necessity of digital security.
So let's break this down. On one side, you've got the amazing promise of it all, right? The connection, the global commerce, the endless knowledge. It's incredible. But on the other side of that coin is the peril. With every click comes the risk of fraud, the potential for theft of our most personal data, and even the manipulation of what we see and believe. It's this tug of war that makes understanding digital security so important.
I mean, think about it. Billions of us are all connected in this massive web. It fuels creativity and business in ways we couldn't have imagined. But the very thing that makes it so powerful, that interconnectedness, is also its biggest vulnerability. And here's the thing you gotta remember. The internet wasn't originally built to be a fortress. It was designed for openness, for sharing. So that means every time you stream a song, buy something online, or share a family photo, you're essentially opening a small door. And each of those doors is a potential entry point for a threat that we have to be ready to manage. Okay, so what exactly are we up against on this unseen battlefield? Because if you're going to build a solid defense, you first have to know what kind of weapons the enemy is using. Let's take a look. So here's a peek into the arsenal. You've got things like phishing and social engineering. Those are the ones that play mind games to trick you into giving up your info. Then there's the nasty stuff, the malware. Think viruses or ransomware that lock up your files. You have DDoS attacks, which are basically digital traffic jams designed to crash websites. And of course, unauthorized access and webjacking, where hackers just go for a full takeover. It's a wild and constantly changing landscape out there.
Let's just zoom in on phishing for a second, because it is one of the most common and honestly most effective threats. And the scary part? It doesn't rely on some super complex code. Nope. It relies on breaking human trust. That email that looks like it's from your bank, that text with a weird link, they're banking on you to trust it. It really shows that your own awareness is one of your most powerful security tools.
Now, with this scale of threats, it becomes really obvious that we need some rules of the road. We need regulation. And we're not just talking about someone stealing your password. We're talking about huge societal issues. Regulations are trying to tackle the big stuff, from stopping the spread of horrible, illegal content, to protecting artists' work online, to preventing massive financial crimes that can wreck economies. All right, so we've seen the threats. It can feel a little daunting, I know. But how do we fight back? Well, we've developed a pretty powerful arsenal of our own, a kind of digital armor to protect ourselves and our data. And at the absolute heart of that armor is something called cryptography. It's basically the modern, super-powered version of secret codes. The whole goal is just to take your normal, readable information and scramble it so it's complete gibberish to anyone who isn't supposed to see it. It's the magic that makes your online banking and your private messages actually private. And even within cryptography, there's another classic trade-off. You've got symmetric, which uses one single key. It's super fast, really efficient. The only catch? You have to figure out how to share that secret key without anyone intercepting it. Then you have asymmetric, which brilliantly solves that problem using a public and a private key. It's way more secure for sharing, but a little bit slower. In the real world, most systems actually use a clever mix of both to get the best of both worlds. That asymmetric system also gives us something really cool, the digital signature. Now, this isn't about writing your name, it's about proving something is authentic. So here's how it works. Your computer creates a unique digital fingerprint of the message. That's called a hash. Then you lock that fingerprint up using your private key. The cool part? Anyone with your public key can unlock it and check if that fingerprint still matches the message. If it does, they know two things for sure. It came from you, and nobody messed with it in transit. Now, our defenses aren't just ones and zeros. They're also legal. Ever since the internet really became a public thing, governments all over the world have been playing catch-up, trying to write the rule book for this new frontier. From early attempts in the US, like the CDA, to India's big IT Act, to the EU's game-changing GDPR that focuses on your data privacy, it's this massive, ongoing global project to make the internet a safer place. But all of this protection, this digital armor we've been talking about, it all comes at a price. And it's not just about money.
It involves compromises, headaches, and some really, really deep questions about what we value.
I mean, on a practical level, let's be real. Security can be a pain. The best tools and services can cost a lot of money. And we've all been there, right? You're in the middle of something important and bam, your computer says you have to stop and install a security update. And sometimes, all that protection running in the background can make your phone or laptop feel just a little bit slower. That's the friction, the small price we pay for being safer. And that brings us to a much, much bigger conversation, which is captured perfectly in this quote from Lawrence Lessig. What he's saying is, because literally every single action online can be logged and controlled by code, there's a real danger that cyberspace, which we think of as a place of freedom, could actually become the most controlled space in human history if we're not super careful about how we build and regulate it. And that, right there, is the balancing act. It's the central tension of our digital age. How do we get the security we absolutely need to stop bad actors and protect people without crushing the freedom of expression and privacy we value so much? Every new law, every new technology forces us to look at this scale and decide where we want the balance to be. So, with all these big, complicated issues floating around, you might be asking, what can I actually do? Well, it turns out a surprising amount. A huge piece of the puzzle isn't about some complex corporate strategy. It's about personal responsibility and just forming good digital habits. The power really is in your hands. So here it is, your personal playbook. And look, this isn't rocket science. These are the fundamentals. Using a strong, different password for every important site. Turning on two-factor authentication. Seriously, do it everywhere you can. Clicking update when your phone asks you to. These simple actions are incredibly powerful. You combine that with a healthy dose of skepticism about weird emails and a good backup routine, and you've just protected yourself from the vast majority of threats out there. Which brings us right back to the ultimate question, doesn't it? In this connected world, how much personal freedom are you willing to trade for digital security? There's no easy answer. There's no one-size-fits-all solution. It is a constant negotiation, a line in the sand that we as a society and you as an individual have to decide where to draw. Something to think about.